Water temp is 58.9 degrees, and just pulled back to the back of this little cut. We got some bait back here. Looks like we got some fish on the bottom. Definitely some bait right here. Bait, a few small fish. Cluster right there. We're gonna make a few casts. I'll throw that underspin a little bit. See if we can get a bite on an underspin. We'll see. Who knows? These suckers right here, if you haven't tried them, these are the Bahio Violet Lens. I like the nipper because I got like a medium frame. These suckers are awesome for these kind of days, for these cloudy days. It blocks all the blue light, and you can really see your grass, and you can see everything. Everything just kind of pops. Check them out. There he is. Right underneath those shad. Alright. There you go, folks. Little underspin fish. Man, there ain't many out here, but I saw a few down there swimming around, and through that underspin out there, just slow rolling through the ball of shad. There's like one little ball of shad right in here, and I can see those fish come up and kind of split those shad up, and just slow rolling. I had to make like 10 casts through there, and finally one of them grabbed it. It's fun though. It's fun watching them on live scope. Whether you like it or not, it is a blast. If you got the money, buy it. You'll learn a lot about fish. Don't always catch them. Most of the time you don't catch them, but it is cool to see what's going on down there underneath the water. What I'm looking at, folks, look at this. Yeah, it's getting ready to get crazy. Look at this big old ball of shad, and there's fish busting everywhere out here. Oh yeah. Where'd the shad go? There he is. Got a... Come here. Yeah, love it. Hunting and pecking, man. It gets easy when you find them. It's awesome, man. It's a little group of shad out there. Nice little group of bass, just following them around. I got set up perfect with the spot lock, and just making that same cast, getting it done. That's fun. Show you my equipment here real quick. I just got a 7-foot medium heavy smoke rod. It's been a great rod. It's got a nice soft tip on it. 15-pound fluorocarbon, just a 7-to-1 Lose speed spool. It's a Tournament Pro, and you know, I'm just casting. This is a 1/4 ounce Cumberland Pro Apex underspin with a little Kitech. It's a 3.5-inch Kitech sight flash. It's been my favorite color. I like the little gold blade on there, and it's got a little bit of chartreuse there on the throat, which I think really works better on these overcast days. Just finding little pinch points, just idling around. I idled through this area and I saw some bait, and I didn't really see any bass, but a lot of times those bass will be on the bottom and you can't really see them on your side scan. So I went downwind and started working my way back upwind, and then I started seeing the fish come up off the bottom after these shad, and I'm just kind of spot locked right here, and I'm just making the same cast and getting some bites. It's fun. It's really fun. So I've kind of split these fish up, but you can see some on the bottom right there. They're right there on the bottom. There you go. There's a little bit of bait right here. I'm just slow rolling that underspin right along the bottom. That bait actually went out there to the left. See that bait? It's way out there. It's like 100 foot out to the left of the boat. So I'm going to start easing my way out there and see if I can pick up a few more fish. fighter. It's a good fish. Go, another good quality bass. Slow rolling through those fish. Gotta find them. That's the whole deal. Gotta keep moving until you find them. It's so fun, man. I love that swim bait bite. There he is. Found a little school. Underspin. Fall underspin fishing is a blast. You just gotta keep moving around until you find the fish. Got them stacked up on this point here with the wind blowing in here, and they've got some shad pinned on this point, and it's just about making that nice cast. That's one good thing about live scope, is I can make that precise cast and just slow rolling through those fish. There's more out there. When they slow down, I'll show you another way to pick up a few more that won't hit this swim jig or this underspin anymore. You get a little shaky head and throw it out there. You can clean up, usually pick up a fish or two after they've shut down on the swim bait. It's a good little bait, guys. Okay, the fish are still down there, but they seem to have gotten off that underspin. I mean, I've had them kind of look at it, but they're not really grabbing it. So before I leave the area, one thing I'll do is I'll take a shaky head. This is a little Hawgz Custom Bait, 6 1/4 straight tail worm, green pumpkin. Got it on a little 3/16 ounce Jewel Pro shaky head. Got 12-pound test, and just got this Falcon Cara rod, medium heavy. And I'm gonna make a few casts with this worm and see if I can coax a few more fish into biting before I leave. Come on, fish, I know you're down there. Got him. There we go, folks. Hey, give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. A little Hawgz 6 1/4 coming through. Tip of the day: when you're getting bit on one bait and you still see the fish down there and they will not commit, they're burnt out on that bait, make a little switch. If you're throwing an underspin or swim bait, you got a school fired up down there and they quit, pick you up a little shaky head. Something more finesse will pick you up a few more bites. Until next time.
If you haven't fished an underspin, you really need to check it out. This has been my favorite one. This is a Cumberland Pro Apex underspin. An underspin is great all year long, but I really lean on it in the post spawn. In the summertime, when the fish are schooling up out there in the main lake, you're typically fishing the bank or you're fishing out off a point, and all of a sudden you see all this, you see all hell break loose. These fish start schooling. This is a great time to have an underspin. That little spinner on there gets their attention. And I pick it up again in the fall. That late fall, when the water really starts cooling off, those fish start schooling up and they get in the same locations as they were in the post spawn, and it works all through the winter. It's a sneaky little bait. Got a lot of confidence in it over the years. This one right here has a little bit smaller hook. It pairs up well with like a 2.8 to all the way up to like a 3.8. If I was going to be throwing a swim bait that's any bigger than that, I would go to a different one. There's a lot of different baits out there, bait manufacturers that make the underspin. I know Picasso's a popular one, but this bait right here, the Apex Underspin on Cumberland Pro, handles a 3.8 down perfectly. It's got a nice round bend hook, sharp, and the blade like a 2, I think this is like a size 2 willow leaf blade. It's a swim bait, and you put a little flash on there and it seems to draw the fish in. 2 different baits that I will fish on there. One is a fluke. I'll just take a Zoom Super Fluke, kind of trim the belly flat out of it, because one thing that will happen is you don't want this blade to get up into the belly because it'll stop the rotation. So you want to keep it kind of slim profile. And the other thing that I'll throw on there is just a little small swim bait. I was throwing the Kitech, like a 3.5 inch Kitech. Sight Flesh has been one of my favorite colors. There's several, I mean, there's a bunch of different colors out there. It's really just about getting around the fish. But this is a 1/4 ounce. I throw the 1/4 ounce a lot, I throw the 3/8 a lot. 1/4 ounce basically when I'm, I don't know, 12 foot or shallower, and I want to really slow roll it. I like that 1/4 ounce. It takes a little bit longer to get down there, but you can really keep it on the bottom. It's kind of like the A-rig thing with the 16th ounce heads. It takes a little bit longer to get down there, but you can keep it down. If you've got a heavier head and you want to slow roll it, you're going to get hung up a lot more. So this 1/4, if I'm going down the bank, just fan casting, if I'm in an area when the wind's blowing, you can fish this thing like a spinnerbait. You can actually cover water with it if you get in the right areas. If I'm doing that, I'm going to be throwing a 1/4 ounce and slow rolling it. If I'm fishing out there a little bit deeper and I want to be moving it a little bit faster, then I bump up to that 3/8 ounce. Or if I'm going with a little bit bigger swim bait. This is a really kind of a finesse type swim bait. If I was throwing like a 3.8 fat, then the 3/8 is probably what I'm going to go with, because you got all that plastic. It's going to slow the fall, and then that plastic's going to help it rise. So you can still fish it really slow, but if you're going to go with these more smaller finesse type swim baits, the 1/4 ounce is the way to go. As far as equipment, just a 7 foot to 7'3" medium heavy action rod, something with like a slight soft tip. I like 15-pound fluorocarbon. I fish 15-pound fluorocarbon on a lot of different things, so it's typically on a bunch of my rods, but 12 to 15, if you're fishing something out deeper around a lot of brush and you've got a bigger underspin, you may bump it up to 17, but honestly, I think 15 is the heaviest I would go. The lowest I would go would be 12, but 7 foot medium heavy rod. I like a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. I can slow it down if I need to, and when I hook up with a fish, I got enough speed to stay up with them. Sometimes you set that hook and they come run at the boat. You got a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel, you can keep up with them. You don't want to get slack in the line. And fishing this thing is very key. Make your cast, you want it to sink to the depth that the fish are on. I was using forward-facing sonar. I wasn't catching the fish. I wasn't watching the fish really get it, but I was just kind of using it to see the area where the bait was at. And that's what I do a lot of times. A lot of times when the wind's blowing, I'll kind of pan around, and once I get an idea of where the fish are at, I'll spot lock and I'll just kind of make that cast, try to make that same cast. You can do the same thing with side scan, and that's key, idling through an area and finding the fish. And once you know about where the fish are at, you can spot lock and just make that cast. But you make your cast, you get it down there to where you think the fish are, and you just kind of slow roll it. And that bite, a lot of times, it'll disappear. The bait will just disappear when they're biting good, and you just get slack in your line. So you're just gonna roll up and just kind of sweep set. Sometimes you'll feel them hit it, thump, they'll kind of tap it, just keep rolling. Don't set, just keep rolling. Eventually they're gonna load up or they're gonna let it go by. But don't set it like a jig or a worm. You wanna just kind of sweep, pull into them hard. Once you feel that rod load up, then you can give them the juice. But you don't wanna like snap set. You don't wanna slack line them or anything. You're gonna miss the fish if you do that. It's just like an A-rig or any other bait that you're reeling in slow, crankbait, same kind of thing. Just let them load up, just a nice easy pull, and then when you feel it load up good, then you can give them the juice.